Long time ago, in a small village called Zuba, people lived happily by the big river. The river gave them fish, water, and a place to wash clothes. But deep inside the river, something very dangerous lived. A giant crocodile named Kamba. Kamba was not an ordinary crocodile. He was bigger than a boat, and his teeth were as sharp as knives. The villagers feared him because he had eaten many animals and even some people who went too close to the water. The village elders warned everyone to stay away from the deep part of the river, but some people did not listen. One day, a little boy named Tand was playing by the river with his dog, Bobo. Tand loved to throw stones into the water and watch the ripples. His mother had told him never to go too close, but he was curious. He wanted to see if Kamba was real or just a story told by the elders. As Tand played, he saw something moving in the water. It was slow at first, but then it became faster. Suddenly, two big eyes appeared above the surface. Tand gasped. It was Kamba. The crocodile was watching him. Before Tand could run, Kamba lunged out of the water with his huge jaws wide open. Tand screamed and jumped back just in time. Bobo barked loudly, trying to scare the beast away. The villagers heard the noise and rushed to help. Chief Babu, the oldest and wisest man in the village, arrived with the hunters. They had spears and arrows, ready to fight Kamba. The giant crocodile growled and snapped his jaws, making the ground shake. The hunters threw their spears, but Kamba was too fast. He dived back into the river, splashing water everywhere. The villagers knew he would return, and they needed a plan. That night, the elders sat by the fire and talked about how to stop Kamba. "We must set a trap," said Chief Babu. "But how?" "He is too strong," said one of the hunters. "We will use a goat as bait," the Chief Babu explained. "When Kamba comes out, we will use a strong net to trap him." The villagers worked together to make the strongest net they could. They tied it to big trees near the river and placed a goat by the water. Then they hid and waited. Hours passed. The night was quiet except for the sound of crickets. Then they heard a splash. Kamba was coming. His big, dark body moved slowly through the water. His eyes glowed in the moonlight. As he crept closer to the goat, the villagers held their breath. Then, with a powerful leap, Kamba jumped onto the shore to grab his meal. "Now," shouted Chief Babu. The villagers pulled the ropes, and the net fell over Kamba. The giant crocodile roared and thrashed, trying to break free. The trees shook, and the ground trembled. But the net was strong. Kamba fought for hours, but he could not escape. At sunrise, he was too tired to move. The villagers cheered. They had finally caught the monster of the river. Chief Babu stood before the tired crocodile and spoke. "Kamba, you have caused much fear in our village. But we will not kill you. Instead, we will take you far away, where you can live without hurting anyone." The hunters tied Kamba to a big wooden cart and took him deep into the jungle, far from the village. There, they released him into another river where no people lived. Kamba looked back once, then disappeared into the water. But the story did not end there. Several weeks later, another village near the new river sent a message to Zuba. They had seen a giant crocodile, bigger than any they had ever known. Kamba had found a new home, but he was still a great danger. The people of Zuba worried. Had they made the right decision? Should they have dealt with Kamba in a different way? Chief Babu called for a meeting. "We must make sure Kamba does not harm another village," he said. A group of the strongest hunters was chosen to follow Kamba's trail and study his movements. They tracked him for days, watching how he hunted, where he rested, and how he behaved in his new home. Kamba had plenty of food in the jungle, big fish, antelopes, and other wild animals. He did not need to attack humans anymore. One night, the hunters saw something amazing. Kamba was not hunting people. Instead, he was fighting other crocodiles, chasing them away from the river. It seemed that Kamba had become the protector of the new river, keeping the balance of nature in place. One of the hunters, Jero, grew especially interested in Kamba's behavior. He noticed that Kamba had a special way of moving, almost as if he was guarding something deeper in the river. Jero decided to stay longer and observe more. What he discovered was shocking. Kamba was protecting a nest. There were crocodile eggs hidden under a pile of mud and leaves, then Kamba was defending them fiercely. Jero realized that Kamba was not just a monster. He was a father, protecting his unborn children. When Jero returned to the village, he told everyone what he had seen. The villagers were amazed. Even the fiercest creature has a heart, said Chief Babu. Days turned into weeks, and the hunters kept watching from a safe distance. Soon, the eggs hatched, and small crocodile babies crawled out. Kamba carefully led them into the river, teaching them how to swim and catch food. He never let any harm come to them. The hunters reported back to Chief Babu, who made an important decision. Kamba is no longer our enemy. He is a protector of the river. We must tell other villages to respect his home and not disturb him. Word spread far and wide. Other villages heard the story of Kamba, the crocodile king, and they learned to respect nature. Instead of fearing the river, they learned how to live in harmony with it. Years passed, and Kamba's legend grew. People would sit by the fire and tell the story of the giant crocodile who once terrorized Zuba but later became the guardian of the jungle river. The story was told to children so they would learn not to fear nature but to understand it. One day, Tand, now a grown man, stood by the river with his own son. "See that river," he told the boy. "Long ago, I was just like you. I played too close and almost got eaten. But that day taught me a lesson. We must respect nature and its creatures." His son listened carefully, staring at the water. Somewhere in the distance, the mighty Kamba still ruled the river, watching over his kingdom. And so, the river of Zuba flowed peacefully again, and the village thrived, free from fear. But they never forgot the lesson of Kamba. That nature must be respected, and that even the most dangerous creatures have a place in the world. The legend of Kamba was passed down through generations, reminding all who heard it of the balance between man and nature, and how even the fiercest of beasts could have a purpose beyond destruction. And thus, the tale of Kamba, the mighty crocodile of River Zuba, continued to live on, growing richer with each retelling, ensuring that the lessons of bravery, wisdom, and respect for nature were never forgotten. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more story.